Right. Welcome to the Brian Emilio podcast. This is episode one of, well, one. And this is a episode where we don't know what we're going to be talking about. So, Emilio, you want to fire away with your first question of the episode
All
for me?
right. Question number
All
one
right.
for my movie review podcasting
Yeah.
friend here.
Yeah.
Who is your favorite actor of all time? Dead or alive? Doesn't have to be a currently working actor. Maybe they worked a long time ago. Who is your favorite actor
Oh,
of all time?
man. Of all time?
All time.
Oh, that's tough. That's really tough. There's so many different genres of movies and like trying to find your favorite actor. Oh, man, I mean, if I had to take a guess, it's tough. I can't answer that question, Emilio. That's like pick your favorite kid. Like that's what that is. But which one's your favorite kid? I don't know. All of them. Oh man. Oh,
All
so
right.
okay. All right. All right. Let me try to answer this. So like if we're talking comedic actor,
Okay.
I'll start with that. So if we're talking comedic actor, I love 1980s Bill Murray.
Okay. All right.
Okay. So I'm not talking like 90s Bill Murray. Or now some not early 90s Bill Murray is good, but like late 80s, early 90s Bill Murray, he was hilarious. Master of his craft. I'd also have to go with, if we're talking serious actor, I again like 1970s, 1980s, even into the 90s, Al Pacino.
Okay.
Once you get to 2000s, that's where we start to lose it. Although he was pretty good in Insomnia, which that
Okay.
was like a
Okay.
late 90s 2000 movie. So yeah, I'd say that. Now if we're going with horror, I gotta go with the Hail to the King, Bruce Campbell,
Okay. Nice.
of Army of Darkness fame. Sad news that I heard today is that he unfortunately was diagnosed with cancer,
Oh man.
and
Okay.
yeah, so he had to cancel a whole bunch of things. But yeah, man, Bruce Campbell, he is the man. Like Evil Dead, Army of Darkness, so good. He even had a cameo in Darkman from the early 90s.
Oh, okay. I didn't
So
know that.
Sam Raimi, a little bit of movie trivia. Sam Raimi wanted to have Bruce Campbell cast as the lead, because Bruce Campbell is one of Sam Raimi's closest friends. But because the studios were like, we don't know who the hell that is, they were like, no, we got to pick someone who has a name. So they went with Liam Neeson. But
Oh,
surprisingly
okay.
enough, Sam Raimi was like, okay, you didn't want to have my best friend as the lead, but when he changes his face at the end of the movie, it's going to be Bruce Campbell's face. So, so he got it in. He got it in
Okay.
somehow. Got it in. All right.
Nice.
Yeah. So
All
I
right.
all right, I got a question for you. I got a
All
question for
right.
you.
Hit
All
me.
right. So how did you get into podcasting?
How did I get into podcasting? All right. Well, um, let's see, I think this was like 2007 or
Mhm.
so. I got interested in audio engineering. I've always loved like music and the whole process of like recording an album, recording songs, writing songs, like the whole process in general. And so in high school, I started taking like some classes at like a local community college during my summers. Um, for like basic audio engineering and like how to use certain DAWs and how to use like certain outboard gear. And so I started getting into more audio engineering mainly for the purpose of music. But I also did help out with like a few like different spoken word projects. So that was early on, and when I was like still in high school. Now fast forward to doing that on some music projects and helping some friends out here and there, doing audio production on some different small albums and like small projects. And then in about 2018, I had some different friends that were interested in podcasting, And since I was their I don't know, their friend that knew the most about audio production stuff, I am who they went to. So I started getting involved with learning about how podcasting works and what you need. And I already had kind of a working knowledge of like how this DAW works and kind of the equipment that I would need and how to use plugins and all of that stuff and how to encode in different formats. So yeah, from there in 2018, 2017, 2018, I started editing and producing and helping people get their podcasts out onto different platforms. And then that grew more so in like 2020, like COVID times, because a lot more people wanted podcasts.
Yep.
And so I started getting involved in that more. And yeah, and then kind of as I was transitioning out of doing music as like my full-time day job and started having a family, and I wanted something that I didn't always have to be away as
Right.
much. So I started getting involved in more like remote podcasting projects, and yeah, that kind of just expanded out and grew. And yeah, now I am fully immersed in podcasting. I love it. I love listening to podcasts. I love working on them. And yeah, I think
It,
that kind of
it's
gives a reason
crazy.
why I'm here.
It's crazy how it works, right? Like it's crazy how like one thing leads to another,
Yeah.
and like you never would have been like, oh yeah, I never would have thought I would be working for a podcasting company and talking about podcasts, talking to podcasters on a daily basis. But here we are.
Yep.
Crazy. It's crazy.
Definitely. Definitely. All right. Well, jumping into our next question.
Uh
Let's see.
oh.
I'm gonna throw one at you.
Uh oh. Here we go.
Let's see. What was like the first kind of video project that you worked on, or like something along those lines? Because I know being at Libsyn, you are our video like manager and specialist,
Yeah.
and you work on all our videos. So how did that come about in terms of like getting involved with that, and the kind of like the first? I'm talking about like very first. Might have been on like a super early camcorder. What was like that first project that you worked on?
So what was my first video I ever made?
Yeah.
Is that what you're asking?
Yeah.
Oh man. Okay. All right. This is reaching. This is reaching. Okay. So I caught the film bug. That's what we call it.
All
The
right.
film bug. I caught the film bug in high school.
Okay.
So I have always been artistic. I have always loved painting and drawing and being creative. You know, I went through a time where I was really into poetry and writing, and sculpture. So anything that like stretched my creative muscles, I was into it.
Got it.
I at one time wanted to be a special effects makeup artist, and I did do some of that for a couple indie films, even after high school. But I really wanted to be a comic book artist,
Ah, okay.
and especially draw Japanese manga and anime. I really got into that in high school.
Nice.
Now, I had never played around with film and video up until it must have been like my junior year of high school. I took a TV class because I was like, well, I haven't done that, and that might be cool. And it was just like an elective just to fill out the day.
Okay.
And I absolutely fell in love with video. Like
Ah, okay.
it was like for me, it felt like video was this. And when I say video, I really talk about filmmaking, like telling stories with film and video. It felt to me like a combination of all of these different things that I was doing separately,
Okay.
all of these different creative things, be it drawing, writing, or sculpture or painting. It felt like it was a combination of all of these things. And I was just like, this is what I want to do. Like you kind of have a moment where you're just like, this is it. This is what I want to do for a living.
Yeah, yeah.
So my senior year of high school, and I don't know, you're younger than me, so I don't know if they still do this, but my senior year of high school, we had to do a senior project.
Okay.
Did you have to do that?
Yeah, I did actually.
Yeah, yeah. It's kind of dumb. In my opinion, it's kind of dumb. It's like you should really be focusing on like, I don't know, high school and
Yeah.
getting into college and that sort of stuff instead of a project that truthfully, and this has something to do with this. Truthfully, I think I worked harder on that senior project than I worked on anything since. like
Oh,
unusually
anything
difficult.
since. I thought you were gonna say in all of high school. I was like, yeah, same,
No,
but anything since.
anything
Okay.
since. Anything since. Just because it was like all consuming and that sort, like it took up everything. But anyway, that's not my
Yeah.
point. So the senior project that I did, I did it on, I I believe in the paranormal. This has nothing to do with it. I believe in the paranormal. I believe in ghosts and things like that. So like my
Nice.
senior project was on the scientific basis for ghosts and
Oh, okay.
yeah, so it was yeah. So I looked, and this was before like ghost hunters and all this stuff. So, I
Okay.
was talking about, my research paper about like uh, the electronic voice phenomena and EMF detectors and all that stuff that now is kind of commonplace when you look at, ghost reality TV shows. But this was back in like 2003, 2004, so it was not as prevalent back then. But
Okay.
part of the project was that we had to do something. So we had to write a paper, and we had to do something. And this was right when I had caught the film bug. So I was like, I want to make a movie. I want to make a horror movie.
Nice. All right.
And it was my first ever experience making a film.
Ah.
Because like in the TV class, we were mostly making like, morning announcements and things like that, but nothing
Okay.
like a film. So this was like I spent, hours in study hall writing the scripts, making storyboards. We filmed it at my house. It is a terrible nightmare of a movie. And I tell people, I'm like, it's my Dorian Gray picture. I'm like, it is the thing that if you saw what I made in high school with a Panasonic mini DV camcorder with my
Yeah.
brother and my friends, and like it was a terrible horror movie called Banshee that I think is on VHS tape somewhere.
Nice.
But yeah, it was terrible. But you know what it did do is it taught me how difficult filmmaking can be. And
Okay.
it's
Yeah.
like, look at all of the moving pieces. And again, it was like the proto version. So everything I've done since then has been learning from every single thing that I've done. Like that
Okay.
was the first time, and I was so proud of it. I played it in like every class, and no one in my high school had ever done anything like this before. They had
Yeah.
never made a movie. So like even though my movie was like a little 10-minute long thing, which again, this is all before YouTube existed. So like the whole concept of, oh, we're just consuming videos on our phones. No, that didn't exist back then. So like it blew people away. They're like, wow, you made a movie? It's like, yeah, I made a little movie, I made a little short film. And no one at the time had done that. Now I know because like my brothers had graduated high school, they're younger than me. They've said, oh yeah, some people do that like once a year now. I'm like, okay, well, I was the first. I was the first one.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But yeah, that was my first taste of film, and I've never looked back since. And what's interesting is like how it transitioned into podcasting is I was reading an article from Kevin Smith about filmmaking, and this is right when he did Smodcast and had that coming out, and he said like
Okay.
every filmmaker should do a podcast. And I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. And that's how I started my own podcast, is from that, trying to be a filmmaker first and then being like, okay, well, how do I get like butts and seats? And it's like,
Yeah.
well, generate an audience. Well, how do I do that? Oh, I don't know. Talk to them.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
that's what I did.
Okay, nice.
Yeah.
That makes sense. And I
You didn't know that
I'm not
story.
I
You didn't
didn't.
know. I know not a lot of people do. Not a
Okay,
lot of people
yeah.
do.
I've got exclusive info here,
Yeah.
but I
Yeah.
mean that makes sense. Like there's a reason why the whole credits list at the end of a movie is extensive because it takes so many different moving pieces and
It's yeah.
people putting in tons of work to
Yep.
create that couple hour movie that you're going to sit in the theater through,
Yeah.
or even nowadays just at home sitting on the couch and streaming all the movies. But yeah, I mean that totally makes sense. I remember doing like small little video projects with
Yeah.
my friends in high school. Nothing to like the extent of like an actual film that we produce, but like little small sketches and stuff. But yeah, I mean, my my high school project, I actually made a CD for like that was like highlighting some of the musicians at our school. So like
Yeah.
I recorded the choir that we had and like the jazz band, and a couple people had like some original songs, and like I recorded a couple covers on there.
Hmm.
So yeah, I mean, all that to say, I don't think this is exactly anything new for us that we've been working on the audio side of things and the video side of things. This has been decades in the making here.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we both have had those moments where like the thing hits you, and you're like, I want to do this like for a job. Like
Yeah, yeah,
that's the thing.
exactly.
I think the biggest difference is like how it's evolved, right?
Sure.
Like I still, if I have the chance to work on a film, I'll work on a film. Obviously like podcasting has taken up more and more of my time than I ever thought so. And it's interesting. I always find with our journeys is that, we lead to this point where we're now helping podcasters
Yeah,
tell their stories and like communicate their passions, be it like me with movies or you with music, and like seeing other people like come to the table in the same boat that we were, but now they're like, hey, I want to use this medium to connect with my tribe,
yeah.
basically. And that's I think for me the biggest thing that I see with podcasting, how it relates to like our individual passions and where we came from is that connection to the tribe.
Absolutely, 100%. And I think the ability to like communicate something,
Mhm.
especially in like an art form, like for me in high school, like I didn't have the words necessarily to like articulate everything. But when I would hear like a piece of music, or when I would
Mhm.
like look at a piece of art, I know you mentioned like you were pretty artistic early
Yeah.
on,
Yep.
like being able to convey something in something that you create, or helping people to do the same, to tell a story, to kind of convey an interview story arc
Mhm.
into a way that communicates what you're trying to get across is something that I find really fun and interesting, and I think like is something human in itself, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Well, Emilio, this has been an amazing episode of Brian and Emilio's podcast show.
Episode number 1.
Episode 1 of 1. Where can they find us at on the internet, Emilio?
They can find us at our office hours and launch and grow events. We have one this Wednesday.
That's
And if
right.
you're listening to this, you might be hearing this in real time at the launch and grow event. So excited for it. That is coming up March 11th. So be there at our Libsyn office hours,
That's
talking
right.
all about AI.
Talking about AI. And with that said, we will see you